On we're live. What's happening, guys? So you see the model Plan Z. This thing, before I talk about anything, this thing is just awesome. This came in the mail today. We have a viewer. His name is KJ Kiley of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And KJ built this model of Plan Z. And it's just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. Can we look at this? It's Plan Z. I don't want to heal it. I don't want to get my fingerprints all over it. It's cleaner. It's nicer than the real car. Yeah, he went. Look, even underneath. Look, it's all white underneath, right? Red suspension, just like the real car. He's got the STP decals on the headlights, and it's exquisite. KJ, thank you so much for this, man. This is truly a treasured possession now. Thank you. I value this more than the actual car. Thank you so much. All right, let me put this thing away. Well, I'm going to leave it out. Let me leave it out. Okay. So that's that. Joe K. Tony found a way to drop more weight out of Plan Z, shrunk the whole car. That's the next step. The next step is to actually shrink the whole car down to 1/25th scale and go for it. What a mess this place is. Holy shit. We try to make it like neat in here, you know? So, but that's not going to happen tonight. That's just not going to happen. Dallas is down with the Rona. So he'll be out for a couple of weeks. It took me like 5 weeks to get over it, way back when I had it. So Dallas is going to be down for a while, and the odds are the New Year's Eve thing that we were talking about is not going to happen. So what are you going to do? But let's wish Dallas, and his wife's got it. His whole family's got it. So you got the Rona. They're leveled with the Rona at the moment. So. Yes, I did it. Dr. Wendy, Ned, you noticed I emptied out the ashtray. Yes. I try to start every live with a fresh, clean ashtray. That's about as far as I go as far, preparation. You know what I mean? Dump the ashtray, go on live. Yes, dang the Rona. Steve Biker, you totaled your car model. Oh man, I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Eureka 7 Wave. Okay, let's just like dive right into tech stuff, because why do I look so dark? Oh, I know why I look dark. Hang on, I gotta turn on this light. See, I don't do any preparation for this stuff. Is that better? A little bit, yeah. Okay. Let's go back. Eureka 7 Wave. Uncle Tony, how much is the allowable size for a cylinder bore and a 383 for a stock piston? All Chrysler engines from that era are designed for a 60 thousandths overbore. So you start at so your maximum on that is 4.31. That's in theory. Okay, now that's in theory. They're supposed to be able to go to 60. But sometimes you've got a block that's cast with thin cylinder wall, or it's got occlusions in it, so that you don't find until you bore it. So, but yeah, it's supposed to be 60 thousandths. Pentastar, you just recovered from the Rona. It kicked your ass. It was a bitch. I had this thing at the beginning of 2020, and well, Kathy got it first. And I got it about a week later, and it went through so many phases. It was just absolutely crazy. So, but I think it's a lot less. I think it's mellowed out a lot since then, because everybody who's had it recently over the last, let's say, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, it's more like a bad flu. But when we had it, it was like fresh off the boat. You know what I mean? It was like it had all of its Rona goodness. You know what I mean? It got us, but good. So I think it's much mellower now. I don't think it's as crazy as it was. Let's see. What's going on, Sean Fagan? Um, Eureka Seven noted, have you ever needed to replace valve springs from where? On a high performance engine? Yeah, on a regular, like a regular daily driver type motor? No, they just go. If you know, I mean, a daily driver, if it'll rev to 5,000, it's like and you really don't need much of a valve spring to do that, especially with a stock cam. So it just depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you go, like the extremes. If you go back to like the 1980s, was 70s and 80s, the old modified eliminator cars with the small cubic inch Chevy motors. They were on like 265, 280, 280 cubic inches in the gas classes, and they would run those things out, and they would launch at like 11.5, and they would run them through the traps at like 12,000. And on those engines, the valve springs were good for like 3 runs. That was it, brand new valve springs, 3 runs, throw them away, and get a new set. So, I mean, it just depends on what you're doing with the valve spring that dictates what kind of lifespan it's going to have. Andrew Simmons, Uncle Tony, do you know what good physically small V8 is? I'm looking for a small V8 for a trike build that won't break the bank. I would say the ultimate motor for that would be the small Buick, like the 215. Like Dallas actually has one of those. But for a more common engine, I would go to Windsor Ford, the 302 Ford, or 289 if you can find a 289 and 260, or the 302. Those are your physically smallest, lightest engines that are perfect for a trike. Let's see. Todd Iannuzzi, in Edelbrock's, are the fuel bowl baffle plates really necessary? They're good to have. I mean, I've never tested to see whether they were necessary or not. They have that window at the bottom, so like they don't seal across the bottom. I would say they're probably a good thing to have. I would imagine that the purpose of that. So think about this for a second, okay? So here's your lid. Here's the lid of the carburetor. Well, I'm covering my face. Here's the lid of the carburetor. Here's the float hanging down, okay? And here's the pivot point for the float where the needle and seat is. And right here is where the baffle is, okay? So it would seem to me that under acceleration, if you don't have the baffle, all of that fuel is going to go back, push up on the float, and close off the fuel when you need it the most. So now that I think about it, yes, those baffle plates are necessary. Jason Fitch, Tony, will you finally tell the laundry room explosion story, for the holiday season? I told it there's a whole video, man. There's a whole video, and I don't remember what it was called. But yeah, just search it. What's it called? Geez, I don't remember. But it's up there. Just go to our video list, and come on, why can't I think of the name of that video? It'll come to me, but it's up there already. Serge, can you speak about adding lead additives to the gas on 60s era engines? Should I be adding lead to the gas for my 383? I don't add. Okay, so all of my vintage daily driver type of cars have essentially stock engines in them. I don't add lead to any of them, and I don't have any problems. But they're not all the same. No, the 383, I almost guarantee you're not going to have a problem. They were like hardened seats from the factory. And here's the thing: the older the engine and the higher the mileage of the engine, if the seats actually harden themselves with use. Some of them don't. Some of them don't. It depends on the metal. But I have found that like 906s, which most 383 is going to have like 516s or 906s on it. Cylinder heads. There's really only 2 choices for a 383. The factory seats are hard enough that you don't have to worry about it. Don Wind English, is that the time you were eating artichokes with the dogs? No, that was the time I hit my head in the fuel altered tire shake. That was the one with the dogs. That was one of the first things we ever filmed. Eureka, did 1968 have the hardest seats for the 3D3 heads 906s? I can't tell you if they had the hardest, but I can tell you that they are hard. You'll never find a 516 or 906 head with sunken valves. It just doesn't, you know what I mean? If they're out there, I've never come across one. Frank Bob Tattoo. Okay. Merry Christmas, Frank. Appreciate everything I have learned from your channel. You're a great teacher. I appreciate you watching it and absorbing this stuff. You know, I keep telling people I can't take. I got a head full of shit. And I can't take it with me. So I'm trying to get rid of it all now while I'm still like, you know what I mean? Lazy a-hole. Between Tony and DD Speed Shop, I mentioned to build my first project vehicle. Bro, I watched Dan, and I'm like, I feel like a lazy piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? The guy's just awesome. They both are. Dan and Danny, they're both awesome. Joe's 66 Charger Mess. That's a great name. I love that. Thank you for the super chat, Joe. What size tires, wheels can I run on my 66 Charger? I have 15 by 7s on mine. I think they're torque thrusts, which I think honestly complement the lines of that body better than any other wheel. The torque thrusts just match the 66, 67 Charger. I would say the 15 by 7s are probably proportionate wise and style wise and everything. I'd say they're about perfect. Drag Pack Mark, the video is literally called Exploding Laundry Rooms. Well, there you go. So see, that's why I couldn't remember what it was, because it's too freaking obvious. So yeah, just search the videos on this channel for Exploding Laundry Rooms, and there's the laundry room story. Edward Gomez, what's happening, Eddie? How are you? It's my old friend Eddie Gomez. I've known him for 50 years now, Eddie. I don't know, 45 years, something like that. Oh God! And he still hasn't finished his car. Yep. Eddie, have you finished? Have you? I'm listening. People watching this are not going to believe this, right? Eddie, Eddie, and I, we were teenagers together. Like we were like 15, 16 years old. And he started building a 70 Roadrunner back then. It was like 1977, 1976, 1977. And as far as I know, it still has not moved under its own power. people always break on me. They're always like, he never finishes anything. I finished lots of things. Eddie, you're finishing three what? Thago Firmino. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. Thago. Great channel. I'm always learning a lot from Brazil. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Let's see. Serge, when taking a vacuum reading from the manifold, what would cause a needle to vibrate about an inch back and forth consistently? It's not steady. There's a couple of things that'll do that. I mean, cam profile bed guides, certain types of vacuum leaks. Well, like there's several different things that'll do that. Matthew Cohn, Uncle Tony, are you into mini bikes at all? Matthew, I came this close, bro. I was at Tractor Supply last week. I came and they're having a sale on the Coleman, the 200s. And I came this close to buying it, and I don't know why I didn't buy it. I'm kind of glad that I didn't buy it, because I got so many things. I don't need anything else to take my attention off of the stuff that I've got. But I'm probably going to finish the boat, give it to my kids, get that out of my life, and then go pick up one of those mini bikes. So you know, I've already started sourcing performance parts for them, the intake and the header, and so yeah, I'm in my head. I've already got the mini bike, you know, going. All right. So, but I can't do it until I get this boat out of here. Boat has to get out of here. Bob, do you have tentative dates for your next meeting? I do not. I don't, Bob. Let's see. Matthew Cohn, yeah, I have a hot cam, header, billet, flywheel. It's a lot of fun. Well, let me go into this. So we're working on. I can't tell you exactly when it's going to launch, but it's going to. I can't tell you exactly when it's going to launch, and we still don't really have the content and direction completely pinned down yet. But sometime early this year, sometime probably in January, we're launching a channel with the Junkyard Jet guys, and a separate channel, different from Uncle Tony's Garage, and it's going to be two-wheelers, and that you can guarantee there's going to be mini bike content in there. But we are Austin and John are both in agreement. I haven't talked to Garrett yet, but we will be starting a separate channel with those guys, and it's going to be nothing but two-wheeler stuff. So there will definitely be some mini bike content coming. Because I love stuff like that. I mean, you have no idea. I enjoy things like mini bikes more than I do muscle cars, and like it's hard for people to understand that. Okay, but give me a choice. Give me a choice between screwing around with a mini bike or screwing around with a big block something or other, and I go right to the mini bike because I love shit like that. I love small, friendly, happy, easy to work with. I just love stuff like that. Let's see. Mike and Will Connolly, Engine Masters wants to do an UTG episode. What do you prove or debunk? I'm going to say that. I'll say this to the world. That could just echo out there to whoever hears it because I don't care. Engine Masters can eat a dick. I'm not dealing with those people. I have nothing to do with any of them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to acknowledge they exist. They're ass clowns. You've got a bunch of. I don't want to deal with them. So, like I said, I'll just throw it out there to the universe, and if it gets to them, it gets to them. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because I really don't care. No, I have nothing. No, I want to have nothing to do with anybody from the Motor Trend world. Mike Batista, yeah, those stupid 80 cc's motorized mountain bikes. I like them. I love all of that stuff there. You have no idea, bro. Let's see. Travis Mopar Garage. Tony, big block question. I watched your video and you said the big block take the 13/16 plug. And you said all big block take the 13/16 plug. Not all of them. There are the motorhome and industrial motors that take a 5/16 plug. And those are the ones they have. They're not good for performance. The exhaust port is constricted on those because there's a water passage that runs around the exhaust port. And that's why they use the peanut plug on those heads. And I didn't mention them because they really aren't, there's no place for them really in a performance build. So yeah, those heads take a peanut, take a peanut plug, but don't bother with them. Not another peep show. Dallas is not dead. Dallas has the Rona. Dallas texted me yesterday and said, I'm down with the Rona. So Dallas will probably be out for a couple of weeks. Matt asked Tony, Kathy just said Matt, you're talking to Kathy? How did I get left out of this loop? Kathy says she's making rice balls. Don't hurt yourself eating too much. I know they're good. Oh, please. I'm trying to lose weight. You don't know. And I have. I can button my pants, right? Look at it. My pants are buttoned right now. Usually I sit down and I got to unbutton my pants like the last few months. My pants are buttoned. So yeah, I'm losing weight until now the rice balls happen. And yeah. Mopar Man, the Rona is now called the Koof. Okay. Rice balls and cookies. Well, yeah, Joe, I just wiped out some cookies. There's like 20 left of them. The ones with the jelly I don't like. Mostly all parts. Given the choice, Ron, what's happening? It's Ron Ward. Given a choice between a Carter ABS and a Carter AFB for general street use, which would you prefer? Why? I just like AFBs. Why do I like AFBs? I don't know, man. But if I had a choice between AVS and AFB, I just like if I had to close my eyes and pick one by feel, I would feel for the one that doesn't have an air valve over the secondary. So I'm just partial to AFB style carburetors. UT, can you see your feet now? Yeah, I was never that fat. I mean, I got fat. I got up to like a solid 200 pounds, which is fat for me. I'm only 5'10". But yeah, I was never a point that I couldn't see my feet. I just couldn't button my pants. And I refused. Kathy's like, well, we'll just get you bigger pants. And I'm like, no, that defeats the purpose. You don't get bigger pants, then you have no incentive to lose any weight. Threshold, Tony ate 17 of them rice bowls last year. Maybe I ate 17 of them during Alive. I probably ate 40 of them total. Tony, any experience with total sealed gapless piston rings? Yeah, back, oh God, when they first came out, when was this? Like maybe like 1980, 1985, someplace in that range. I did a couple of customers' engines using them. I mean, I didn't notice anything spectacular. But then again, it's really not something you're going to notice. That's one of those things where if the ZGS, the second ring, because it's the second ring, the top ring just on the sets that I used, the top ring was just a regular ring, and it was the second ring that was zero gap. And I mean, if you are going to see a difference in it, I mean, it's going to be like 2.5 horsepower at like 6,000 RPM. It's like probably not worth the effort. Mopar, they call it the COOF because of the algorithms and social media trying to censor you on their platforms. Okay, I gotcha. Brandon Paul, would you talk to us about bias ply and radials? You're talking about a drag tire? I had my first experience with drag radials last year, and I absolutely love them. But I haven't had enough experience with them because my whole life, all I knew was bias tires. So this last year was my first experience with the radials. I mean, I just absolutely adore them. You don't have to do a burnout, man. You just clean the tires, stage, and go, right? They're amazing. But I don't have enough experience with them to like speak with any sort of authority. Mostly Ron saying driver weight reduction, race car ET reduction, gotta lay up those pan fried dumplings. I haven't had them in a while. I don't think that place is still open. Mr. Wiltone, what import gave you the best run on the street in your Mustang? Back then, there were no imports on the street. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there were regular car imports, but there wasn't an import scene. Like, I lie. There was an import scene, and I never went there with my Mustang. But they used to race down on the Red Hook in Brooklyn. They used to race down by the dock in Red Hook, and I ran my GTX there. I had a 78 GTX, and I raced that there one night, and it was where they raced those cars. It was way too small for a full size B body, especially that thing because like all through first gear it wanted to move around and shit. And that was not the venue. And I made like a few runs there, and then I just packed it in because I was going in the drink. You know what I mean? So I just stopped. But so yeah, there was an import scene back then, but it wasn't anything like you have today. Mike Batista, I used the Nitto 555, 275, 50, 15 drag radials in my Fox, but I need hooked even better bald. Let's see. Chris Burton. Hey, Tony, where should I start to revive my uncle's 82 Yamaha XJ750J? That's a great bike, bro. That's been sitting since 89. Yamaha geared all of those things a little crazy. The Yamaha geared all of those bikes, and I remember those things, and they're geared like a street car with like 410s or 456s. They rev way too much. That's the only downside of those bikes. Other than that, I absolutely love them, man. Let's see, where should you start to revive it? I mean, obviously, pull the tank, check your condition of the tank. You're definitely going to have to go through the carburetors. And those carburetors are easy to go through. The bowls come off. The main jet is always going to be clear. And usually those needle and seats will last like eternally, right? But the low speed jet always clogs. You're going to find the low speed jet is clogged. So, there's that old trick, which is take a piece of what I used to use back in the day. If you don't have stainless wire available, then you pull a bristle from a wire brush, one bristle out of a wire brush, and pass that through all of the low speed jet passages, and then button it back together again and take it for a ride, man. Okay. Hey Tony, do you watch Hoonigans, and is there any chance we'll see you on there? I've seen some of their stuff. I mean, probably not, man. They're out in California. I'm in Middle Tennessee, so probably not. And I don't think they'll be inviting me anytime soon either. So I don't think so. But yeah, I've seen some of their stuff. Um, Brady Putney, what do you think about the 1980s GMG bodies? I did a whole video on 1980s GMG bodies. I love them. I personally love them. I had a Monte SS, an 86 Monte SS for a couple of years, and I love that car. Yeah, I'm a big G body fan. Let's see. Torino Elite. Merry Christmas, Torino Elite. In your opinion, FMX or C6 behind mild tune for the moment 460? See, I'm not. I don't know. I know C. I when I say I know C6s, I'm not a C6 expert, but I know of their reliability. If you can keep them cool, because they overheat. That transmission was known to be like a heat sink. I would go with the C6. I've never hot rodded anything with either an FMX or a C6, but I mean, I've come across many of them through the course of my life, and I would probably go with the C6. But somebody who knows Ford transmissions better than I can jump in there and set the record absolutely straight. That's the thing, guys. If somebody asks me a question and I can't give them a thorough answer because I either don't know the subject matter, I'm not familiar with it, I don't have experience with it, and I try to give you like the best of my, like on that Ford transmission question. I mean, I barely know anything about Ford transmissions, so I'm stretching to give a viable answer. But if I can't come up with an answer, or you feel that I'm wrong or anything like that, please jump in and throw your expertise at whoever is asking that question. That's the thing. I try to keep these things open so the community can share information, and you know what I mean. Bronco McMahon is saying FMX won't bolt to a 460. Okay, see, I didn't see. Thank you. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Short thinking, whatever happened to the Jeep videos that were coming? They are. I have the Eep Hero is on the side of the building over here. I got to pull the train. I got to do the training, and I've just been, you know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to prioritize. So I've been dragging ass on it a little bit, and I figure for the spring we'll have it out for the spring. But there's definitely Jeep content coming, just not for the next several weeks. Okay. Dakota, what's happening? Dakota, how are you, my brother? My grandpa had an FMX in his Torino. He said it was shift first gear at 70 miles an hour. He dropped the valve in it before anything happened to the transmission. With a modulator, those things have a vacuum modulator on it, and the vacuum line was probably off of it or leaking, and so it'll shift out at Let's see. Mostly old parts. Tony, with all this stuff you are accumulating, boats, bikes, etc., any plans to get an air-cooled VW-powered dune buggy? No, I'm not accumulating boats. I bought the boat as a Christmas present for my granddaughters and their family, right? So I'm getting it running. Tomorrow, actually, we're doing a carburetor video concerning that. and I'm getting it running. I'm getting it all squared away, dropping it off at their house, and then the next time we're gonna try to take it out and put it in the water on Christmas Day. And then the next time I see that thing is going to be when it needs something. So I'm not accumulating boats. This is the one and only, and it's not for me. It's for them. Zero, what's happening, brother? How are you? Duke's Mopar Garage. After watching every video you got on cylinder head porting, I just spent the last 3 hours cleaning up the exhaust side of a cylinder head. I'm calling it a day and getting a beer. Yeah, well, there you go, man. 3 hours I clean up exhaust. That's about right. And that's only if you're cleaning them up, not if you're actually porting them. Well, Permian 78, Tony, have you thought about the thermal quad for the Slant 6? I've seen one on the web, 200 CFM flow in the primary is good fuel economy until you 800 CFM from the secondary is open up. Yeah, no, I'm going to stick with the Holly. I'm going to stick with the Holly for ease of tunability, ease of parts. No, first off, there's no way the Slant is going to use the full capacity of the thermal quad. Second, it's a drag-only car, so I don't care if it's got small primaries. That's not doing me any good. It's going to have extremely lazy secondaries. Yeah, no, we're going to stick. I'm sticking with the 650 Holly. Until I'm convinced I can't eke another thousandth of a horsepower, a thousandth of a second out of that 650 Holly. Until I know I've hit the brick wall with that carburetor, I'm not even considering anything else. Mark Smith, I have a 70 Satellite Roadrunner clone, 318 car. Do I have to change the K member to put a 7383? No. Or okay, you only have 3 K member choices in that car. There's the Slant 6, the V8, the regular V8, and the Hemi. There's only 3 K-frame choices. So you've already got the V8 K-frame now. Just bolt it in. The mounts are different. The brackets, the bolt to the side of the block are different, but the K-frame itself is the same. Seamhead 33, UTG. I just drove Florida to Massachusetts for the 8th time since 2020. Why do I always hit the most traffic in Tennessee? What part of Tennessee? Well, I imagine you're taking 70, whatever it is. It goes through Knoxville. Yeah, I know the route you're taking, and yeah, that always is. Let's see. Serge, besides torsion bars, what is it about Mopar that made you prefer it over the other brands? Probably the cheapness of them. I always value, so now we're going to go back to when I'm a teenager. Right? Also, you got to go back to. I mean, like I've just always been a Mopar guy. Okay, but like once I really started to get into them, as a teenager, 15, 16, 17 years old, and I'm starting to work on them and everything else. It was the cheapness. The cheapness was I liked the fact that they had bench seats and rubber floor mats and because cheap means light. You know what I'm saying? Cheap means light. You go to the track and you look at race cars and they have like stockers and stuff like that, and they're all like bare bones with radio delete and rubber mats and everything else. And I think that was the appeal. You know what I mean? You open the door like on a GM car or a Ford car from the era, and you could feel the door is heavy, and when you close it, it had that solid sound. But when you did that on a Mopar, it went ka-clunk. You know what I mean? It's just like Tonka kind of sound to it. And when you close the door, it goes ka-chunk. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yes. If anything is going to go fast, it's going to be that. And that was, I mean, honestly, that's probably the thing that attracted me the most to the Chrysler products. It was only when I got older, later, and more experienced with cars in general that I started to appreciate the asymmetrical leaf springs and the torsion bars and all the other stuff. But originally, the thing that drew me to the Chrysler products was just how cheap and tacky they were. Mark Constantino, what's happening, brother man? Merry Christmas from the Goodfellas gang. Goodfellas Pizza on Staten Island. What a great place that was, man. Mike Batista, I used to think cars needed a body on frame. It's just more dead weight. You know what I'm saying? It's just more dead weight. Mopar Al, what's happening? Eureka, was Tony ever involved with the mafia? What kind of question is that? Let's just say I was, okay? Let's just say I was a fucking kingpin, right? Well, would I be talking about it on a live? If somebody asked me a question like that, would I be talking about it? Think about that. Come on, use your head. You fell off with the mod top. Yes, I love the mod tops. I love all that stuff. CFC, what are your thoughts on the future of Chrysler? Chrysler's dead to me. Chrysler's dead to me. Like literally, man, it's dead to me. Macwitch Dick's Dastardly. Tony, do you think there's an ET advantage with CalTrack over Superstock Springs? CalTrack and Superstock Springs are not mutually exclusive. It's CalTrack or pinion snubber. Like in other words, CalTracks don't cancel out the benefits of Superstock Springs, which mostly is to jack weight, to preload weight. But CalTracks would take the place of the pinion snubber, which is the anti-rotation device. So it's not either or. Now, for my money, I take the pinion snubber because it's lighter. It's simpler and it's lighter. And it grabs from the center. See, here's the thing. When you're doing anything with a sheet metal rear, so a 9-inch Ford, an 8 3/4 Chrysler, any sheet metal rear, sheet steel rear, okay? Grabbing from the center is always important. See, if you use a device, let's say like CalTracks, that's using the axle tubes as a positive stop. All right. So here's the difference now. If you're using just the leaf springs, all right, the leaf spring has enough give that the housing doesn't absorb any twist. If you're locking them down with a traction device in the outer part of the tubes, then you're counting on the sheet steel of the housing itself to be the anti-rotation device, and that's not good. And that's when you have to back brace these things. Like as 8 3/4 Chrysler and 9-inch Ford are the same way. That's where you would have to back brace them. But if you use a pinion snubber, if you use a positive stop that operates from the center of the housing, like a pinion snubber does, then the housing is fine because the housing isn't absorbing any of the rotational loads. The housing is just transferring out to the wheels. The pinion snubber is absorbing the rotational load. So that's the reason why I would just order, like I know CalTracks work. I know they're fantastic. I know I'm not talking shit about CalTracks. I know they are good. So don't quote me or don't misquote me now and say, hey, thanks, CalTracks are shit. No, CalTracks are a fine product and they work. But I would never use them because they're heavier and more complicated than the pinion snubber. And for me, my main priority is always simplicity and weight. Starduster, too many companies from other countries suck the life out of Chrysler. Yes, absolutely. What's going on, FF? Let's see. Super B44. So did you see on Hoovie's Garage, Hoovie bought a 70 Superbird Hemi car? Yeah, I commented on that video and said, send it to me. I'll straighten it out for you. I mean, I was joking, obviously. White Trash Motorsports. Merry Christmas, Tony. Merry Christmas, man. Thank you for inspiring me to get my channel started. Excellent. Good luck with it. Promote yourself now. Put a link, type in a link to your channel there and tell people what is on your channel. You've got 250 something people on here right now. Get as many of them over to your channel as you can to check out your content. And like I said, anybody on this channel, anybody, if you're this live or the one we do on Sunday nights, If you've got anything that you want to promote, you got a channel that you want people to get some eyes on and everything, please, by all means, feel free to do so. In fact, Fubar generally will jump in there. He's one of our mods. He's Fubar the Axe. But Fubar will generally throw a link to your channel in if you ask him for it. So do that. Jason Towie, well, it seems that Mopar is the only cars on the planet. I don't know what that means. Serge, what are your other hobbies, if any, besides cars? Oh, we talked about that. I like oddball psychiatry, psychology, economics. The things that I enjoy are really not having anything to do with cars at all. Let's see, Just Buggins. Last one here. Can you drill out a 318 auto crank while inside the engine to fit a pilot bearing? I'm thinking about replacing my Slant 6 to a 318, but my truck is a manual and a 318 is from an auto. All 318 cranks. If you're living in LA, all 318 LA cranks, all of them, 100% of them, are drilled for a pilot bushing already. 360s aren't, but 318s are. Silver Standard coming back soon. Yes, it is. Big Mike's Hoopty Barn. You just started your channel 3 days ago. Good luck with that, Big Mike. Let's see. Jen and Gracia, where do you stand on carb magnums as opposed to buying tuners and paying for tunes? See, I'm a carb guy. I'm a carburetor guy. So I would automatically put a carburetor on it. Like I can explain this to you. And it's not that I have anything against computer. It's just not for me. I would automatically build it around a carburetor. Emma Cruz, how you doing, sweetheart? Uncle Tony, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Emma. And Ultra Kathy. I mean, you just got your first order and love the shirts and stickers and the likeness of you. I drew that myself. Yes, Mike Batista, long live the carburetor. And Copper Coat, long live Copper Coat. Max Wedge, Dick Dastardly, with CalTrack, you can use a single plug. Yes, you can use a monoleaf, but then you lose the advantage of weight jacking. Just Bugging 67. My Slant gets 11 miles per gallon, and my truck is a 63 D100. I picked up a 4-barrel intake for the Slant, but thinking of going in a different direction. You probably getting 11 miles to the gallon because those 63 trucks, man, I'll tell you what, you've got 410s or even 456s in the back of that thing. That was a common deal. You go for a cheap set of 456s, go find an early 60s D100 with a Slant 6. And, that's where you get these crazy gears. When I was a kid, that's what you always used to look for those early pickup trucks because you'd find that 61, 62, 63, a D100 with a slant and a 3-speed on a column, and you pop the center section out of there, and it's going to be a 456 with a sure grip. Crazy Coffee. UTG, I'm celebrating right now. My buddy and I got a deal in town for selling marijuana concentrates at the biggest dispensary. Love that, Captain Morgan. Whatever gets you down the road. No, stay off the road with that. But whatever gets you, through the day. Ari's going to need samples. Ari has to sample all of these things for sure. Rusty Britches. Shit, sorry I'm late. Had a transfer swap on a freezing cold, but got her done. I'm seriously getting to the point where I'm losing my will to work in the cold. You know what I mean? It's just like, I know it's just the beginning of winter now. So I know I'm going to have to do some wrenching in the cold, but I'm really starting to lose my will to do it. Let's see. Water injection. We could probably do something on water injection. Let's see. Mr. Wilton, seriously, why are 68, 69 charges all going for 50,000, 125,000 beaters, or 40,000? What's up with that? Well, you've got, see, the chart, here's the thing with the Charger, man. This is what you're up against for the Charger, okay? The first is that it's one of the most distinctive body styles from the most distinctive era in automotive history, right? So, you've got that going for you, against if you're trying to buy one of these cars, keeping the value up, right? Then you've got the Fast and Furious crowd, okay? Because all of these kids that grew up on the Fast and Furious, they want a Charger too. So the competition, man, you've got a couple of different generations, and you got the Dukes of Hazzard people. You got a couple of you got like 3 generations of people who are after second generation Chargers, and that's going to keep the price of those things, out of reach until after you're dead. Clem Bob, the 68 to 70 Chargers have the most badass body style of any car in human history, period. It is a truly badass body style. I'm going to agree with that. The ironic thing about those cars, Clem Bob, I don't even know, what do your parents call you, man? So the ironic thing about those 68 to 70 Chargers, Clem Bob, is that if you go back to the day, okay, so day 2 on those cars, they were all over the place in shopping malls and schools and stuff like that because people bought them as family cars. The vast, vast, vast majority of those 68 to 70 Chargers were 318s and 383 2-barrels with air conditioning and automatic, and they were just used as family cars. The Coke bottle shape that's so distinctive on those things today, right, was much more common back then. So they didn't really stand out in a crowd. They stood out, but not to that crazy extent. And so you would just as much see a 68 to 70 Charger, let's say, picking up kids from a bus stop, or just in the supermarket parking lot as you would any place else. They were just regular cars, Joe K, the 65, 66 Impala is damn close to the 68 to 70 Charger stuff. The Pontiac is even closer. The Charger is really an interpretation or a ripoff of the Pontiac, the Le Mans. Let's see. West Coast fishing adventures, perfect analogy of trying to get a Charger. That's true. Rocco Zito, hey, Uncle Tony from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, representing Canada Stan. How you doing, brother? Okay. Otto 1303, rear view of the 68, 69 Charger is pretty well. 70 has the same tail as the 69. It's just a little extra piece of trim between the taillights. But yeah, I agree, man. BM asks remember the Marlin? How cool was that? The Marlin missed the boat because it's really oddly proportioned. The Marlin only looks okay from certain angles, but it's got a really weird proportioning to it. The 66, 67 Charger, which is really a copy of the Marlin, got it much better. And then Ford with the Torino, the fastback Torino, nailed it, right? So it was like the Marlin first, then the Charger, then the Torino. And every step of that fastback evolution, it got better and better until finally, like I said, Ford nailed it. There's like the 68, 69 Torinos, 70s. I'm not even sure which years they ran that until, are just dead nuts perfect what that fastback body style should be. Lloyd Walker, thank you for the super chat. Hey Tony, last talk with the redheaded JJ kid. Video stopped during the middle of my question about GLHS fish tank regulator. Yes, I did, I remember that. I remember that now. Yes, and yes, I did mess around with when we had a test car. We had a Charger GLHS back in 1987, was it? It was a Cars Illustrated magazine. And yes, we were told about the fish tank regulator to put that in the to put that in that vacuum line that goes to the wastegate on that. And however it was, remember, you're talking about 40 years ago, bro. 38 years ago. But yes, I remember the fish tank regulator part. Rocco Zito, what's your take on cams these days? Are they more advanced or better today because of technology? Yes, of course. Of course, technology, technology in itself is not a bad thing. And yeah, it's gone a long way in cam design, you know. Yeah, absolutely. No, not an air bubbler. It was a restrictor. It was a restrictor to keep where's well, it was a restrictor. It wasn't a bubbler. Yeah, in line with the wastegate actuator, bleed off to raise boost. Yes. Um, West Coast Fishing Adventures, Vancouver Island, BC, Canada here. You the man, Tony. Thank you, man. Wish I was closer. My new hobby is horsing Mopar parts, but do sell or give to people that are real Mopar only fans. Keeping the culture alive, man. Keeping the culture alive. I see conspiracies. Why are roller cams so expensive? That's a damn good question. I do not know. I don't know. Eureka 7 Wave. If that's the case, then what's the cost of having so many cam wipeouts on this channel if not in proper break-in procedure? It's been a metallurgical thing. It's not this channel, bro. All of the friggin' channels. Do a search on bad cams. Like I can't tell you how many people have had cam issues with flat top of cams in the last 3 years. Trash metal, yeah. Junker Up had a cam wipe out the lifters on a 360 also. Um, okay, 180. That's his name. I have a 74 Pontiac 400 engine with a Comcams XE cam, ram air heads, Petronas conversion, and quadrajet. It's breaking up under load around 3,500 RPM, but not if you rev it sitting still. Any ideas? Probably ignition. You've probably had a weak spark. Generally, that's what will give you a load. So the motor will freewheel, no problem. But when you put it on a load, it'll only pull to like, 3,000, 4,000 RPM, and it'll start to break up and shoot ducks. That's generally the sign of a weak ignition. Um, Crazy Coffee. Just put cams in my girlfriend's O2 Buick, already a flat lifter. Same issue. Happened to my Tornado. Replace it though. See, it's everybody. It's an epidemic. It's everybody. Mike Batista. We didn't run 700 lift cams back in the day on the street. I remember. I remember when I got my what were they called? The Mopar Express. It was a 528 that I put in a 446 pack. And I remember how that was such a huge cam, right? That was so. I mean, what year is that now? I'm gonna say I was like 17, 18. Maybe I was 18. I don't know. I saved up for a long time to buy that cam. But I remember that was like it was huge. Over 500 lift. Right? That was So yeah, we didn't run crazy big cams back then. They weren't around. Um, let's see. Joe Brown, why is my Autolite 4100 instantly flooding my FE? The spark plugs smell like gas and the pistons heads have gas on them. Carb has been rebuilt recently by a very reputable company. Bro, I don't know. Is it flowing gasoline through the boosters? I mean, is it overflowing with gas? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a psychic. I'm, you know what I mean? Let's see, Crazy Coffee. The only reason I know the cam is at least 500 is because the previous owner's valve covers were worn by the rockers. That doesn't make much sense. Paul Shea, Fabrats had a cam that was too long, stick up on his son's engine on a square body small block Chevy. Yeah, that's lots of stuff. Dan Edwards, this is a good question. I can't answer it. Maybe somebody else here can. I have a 60s Olds 455, orange block, breather reads 1101, ultra high compression. Ever heard of such a motor? I remember seeing the ultra high compression, but I never saw a compression ultra high compression sticker, but I never saw an actual compression ratio on it. So I don't know. Matt S. 44 is the perfect lift for a 340 with a 4-speed. Well, you're talking about that's the street Hemi grind cams, 284, 284, 471 on a 114. And actually that's really a mild cam, right? I'm like that same cam, but like on a 110, right? Would definitely, but it's got a very wide LSA, that cam. So because it's supposed to be for vacuum brakes and all this other shit. So it's a good cam in terms of lift and duration, but it's got way too wide of an LSA to be, you know, a good choice. Mike Batista, sometimes the China knockoffs work great and save you dollars. Tomorrow's video. That's actually, Mike, that's tomorrow's freaking video. So, yeah. Joe K, Tony, where the hell did you have room to race in Brooklyn? We had no room, but we did it anyway, all the time, every night, all night long, everywhere that we could. But we didn't have any room. I mean, seriously, we didn't have any room. But we raced, man. We raced all the time. Tony, China ran. No, no. Weird Flex, thank you for the super chat, my brother. Bad day today. I'm sorry to hear that. Corvair blew a spark plug out of the head on my way to work, trying to put a helicoil in and the tap doesn't want to tap. Walk away from it, bro. Stop. Just stop. Just stop. Walk away from it. Hit it tomorrow with a fresh, clear head, and you'll be like, okay, it's so easy. If you keep pushing, once you've got to that point of fatigue and disgust, you're only going to dig a deeper hole for yourself. So just stop now. Go mellow out, pet the dog, hang out, go to sleep, and hit it tomorrow fresh, and you'll ace it, bro. Mr. Will, thank you for the super chat. Tone, question: do you see the repro bodies from Dynacorn, et cetera, taking off with more bodies and new market for kit cars when new cars hit 2030 August and all that goes with it? Probably not, because building one of them Dynacorn, you see, one of those bodies is fine if you've got a donor car that's got a lot of the small things, you know what I mean, you need, or you're going to spend a lot of money and build a whole repro. But no, I don't see that happening. It's too much. It's too much of a commitment. What I do see happening is people gutting the drivetrain and electronics out of modern cars and retrofitting, let's say, LSs or you know, more common, easy to work with engines and electronic systems. I see that as definitely a future. I am 48 ET6. Tony, your advice is the greatest. I try, man. I try. Richard Strock Messerschmitt Inc. Tony Garage Show. I was so sick I didn't get nothing done this week. Turn bolts. Next week you'll feel better and you will attack them. Ever see the Allstate commercials filmed in New York? That's where we raced. Well, wait, that's actually that's in New Jersey. That's the Global Docks in Bayonne. So where they is it Allstate? Is it Allstate? No, it's Liberty Mutual. It's the Liberty. So if you watch if you ever see those Liberty Mutual commercials where they got the Statue of Liberty behind you, where they film those commercials is right behind the Global Docks. Well, I don't know if it's Global anymore. It used to be Global was the shipping company, and their docks, their warehouses and everything were right on the flip side, like the part that like the camera is behind. And that's where we used to race. I mean, literally on that, where they film those commercials, like that exact spot where the cameraman, the guy who's holding the camera, watching, filming that commercial, well, we would have run him over if they were there filming while we were racing. That's the exact proportion of where that is. We have Flex 69. Let's see. We'll do that. Thank you. The lack of threads explains my super special glitter oil on a new Reebok engine. Oh God, bro, I don't know about that now. How would the threads get into the oil? You may have bigger issues than this. I mean, yeah, okay. So you tore the threads out, but how did those threads find their way into the oil? So you got something else going on there. I would say Weird Flex. Tonight, I would drink excessively, and I don't normally recommend that, you know what I'm saying? But I would either smoke it up or drink excessively because you may have issues to deal with tomorrow, very unpleasant issues. 1 to 3, I don't care. Okay, Tony, do you work on lawnmowers? Just my own. Marv Smith, any way to get hold of you one-on-one? I've been wanting to talk to you for a minute, man. Honestly, I don't have time for phone conversations. I really don't. I mean, this is the reason, the very reason I do these lives every Wednesday and every Sunday is exactly so that we can communicate, right? So yeah, I don't do calls. Look, listen, here's my phone. Anybody who knows me, anybody who knows me knows the deal, right? Here's my phone. The ringer is always off and it's always upside down, and I just don't return calls. I don't read messages. Because I can't, man. I try to live as if it's the 70s. You know what I mean? I have to deal with the realities of this. You know what I'm saying? But so electronic communication and all that. But if I'm not actually on a camera someplace, in my mind, in my world, it's 1975, and you know what I mean. There's just so, and there's the other thing too, right? And anybody who knows me will say this is exactly this is how I am. If I'm on camera like I am right now, or like when we're making a video, then yeah, I'm Uncle Tony, okay. But if I'm not on camera and I'm not making a video, I don't want to even acknowledge that this part of my world exists. I'm does that make any sense? I hope that makes sense. It's my own weirdness. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm not currently on camera or filming, then YouTube doesn't even exist. You know what I mean? It's just it's just not real. It doesn't exist. Tony, can I call you now? Yeah, sure. Knock yourself out. Here you go. Uh-oh, my phone's dead. Lloyd Walker, thank you, man. Appreciate the super chat. How hard to convert the Carter Edelbrock AFB for E85 use, Jess, etc. I have never done it. I don't imagine it's any more difficult than working with any other production carburetor. I'm sure it can be done. I don't think you would have any issue. But if somebody has any experience converting a Carter Edelbrock style carburetor to 85, please jump in and help him out. Andrew Wilson, thank you for the super chat. They've picked up a new project, a 59 Plymouth Savoy 4-door. Excellent. It was a flat 6 and 3 on the tree with 8 1/4 roof. It's 8 3/4. I have an offer for a free Poly 318 and a 727, as well as a Power Flight 2 trans. Poly versus Big Block. Oh man. See, Big Block. Big Block would probably be the better answer. But if you're asking me my personal opinion, like if it was my car, what would I do? I would do a Poly. I would definitely do the Poly. And if it's already 3 on the tree, I would do the Poly with the 3 on the tree, or convert it to a floor. But I would do Poly with a stick. I think that fits the character and the personality of the car better than anything else. And yes, the Savoy wasn't available with a Big Block. If it had a Big Block, it would have a 361. Maybe there's a police package that would have a 361 in it. But yeah, I guess I would build a Poly just because it just seems fitting for that. Need Metal says this car is tuned for 85. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Austin Reason Over. Tony, is your shop open tomorrow? We're going to be swinging out there to buying some shirts. The shop is never actually open. I'm here early in the morning and I'm here in the afternoon and evening. I'm not here like during the middle of the day, but generally what happens is if we're working, if we're doing anything, the door is locked. So I got to do that because I get too many people just walk in. You know what I'm saying? I can't I can't be in the middle of trying to do something or trying to film something or get something done, and people literally just walk in. And then like the other day, not this week, but the week before, I wasn't here. I was taking care of like family things, and the Junkyard Jet guys were here, and some guys stopped in and stayed for 4 freaking hours. And these guys are trying to work. They only got 1 day a week that they can flog in their car, and they got this guy talking to them. And he hung out for 4 hours, and they were trying to be polite. They were trying to be like they were talking, but this guy didn't. That's the problem. And people, they're oblivious. They don't understand. We're trying to do a job, right? It's like it's like if I'm here, my head is occupied. You know what I mean? My hands are occupied. My world is occupied. I'm busy. I'm working. Here's the thing that you guys don't understand. I don't mean you guys in particular, right? But here's the thing that the general public doesn't understand. Okay, YouTube is a job. Okay, this is what I do for a job. And it's not just me. It's like everybody else who does YouTube as a job. So some people make pizza. Okay, some people trade stocks. Some people make YouTube videos. Some people clean offices, right? And it's all the same. See, we're just trying to do a job. You know what I mean? And it's like, you can't just insert yourself into somebody's job. It's like going to the office building when the janitor is trying to clean the fucking the bathroom, and you're standing there asking him questions while he's trying to get the bowl clean, and it's just like you can't do that. And it's the same thing with this stuff. Austin Reason Over. What's a good time? We're coming with my dad's 55 Chevrolet. Austin, this is what I'm trying to tell you, man. There is no good time. If I'm here at the shop, I'm working. There is no good time. Do you realize how much shit I got to get done? I've got so much I have to get done and make videos at the same time and edit videos and do all the things that it takes to get these things up here. There is never, ever a good time to just come by. It does not exist. You know what I'm saying? It does not exist. If I'm here, I'm working, I'm busy. Let's see. Post your videos on Rumble along with YouTube. Rumble doesn't pay. Rumble doesn't pay. Okay. Joe Brennan, I should have clarified. Tony, my Autolite 4100 has gas spilling through the primary and secondary inventories. Through the primary and the secondary inventories? Because the 4100 has two separate needle and seats. You've got a fuel pressure problem. Check the fuel pressure on that. Your fuel pressure is probably over 8 pounds. 7 pounds. Your fuel pressure is probably over 7 pounds for it to be doing that. Out of both the primaries and the secondaries. You might have picked up a bunch of crap and you've got both and you've got the needle and seats hung open. That's a possibility too. But yeah, check your fuel pressure. The internal regulator in the pump might be blocked. Let's see. Rumble is growing. I know it is. I like Rumble, right? I have nothing against Rumble. I love Rumble, right? But this is a business, and I can't have the paying views that would normally come through YouTube get diverted to a format that doesn't pay or doesn't pay as well. So that's why I will fully support Rumble once it's financially viable to do so. Freddie left you. Thank you for the super chat, Freddie. Uncle Tony, you think I could stop by and show you pics of my 57 Chevy? I'm thinking about building this thing in New York Field for 50 years. Send me the pictures. Just send them on over. Let's see. Doug Rutley. Hey, I dug your comment on the Rice Grip Garage page regarding the AMC Rebel. Kid will extrapolate. No, it's the car's obviously got a killer weight bias. I mean, the motor's in the driver's seat. You know what I mean? It's got a fantastic weight bias. So you got to keep the AMC motor. It's hard to make any decent horsepower of those things naturally aspirated. But turbocharge it, put a supercharger on it, spray it, whatever. Get some tires on there, and that thing would go. Tony, hang out with you in Austin tomorrow. I don't know. Zero, you're late. Is that a Wii model of Plan Z? Wait, yeah. I showed this at the beginning. I show it again, right? So one of our viewers, KJ Kiley 59, KJ Kiley from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he goes by Dr. Duster. That's his name is Dr. Duster, and he built this scale model. It's a 1/25th scale model of Plan Z, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's gorgeous. So I just got this in the mail today. So yeah, he built an exact replica of Plan Z. Tony, what's a good time place to meet up for a day-long game of Monopoly? I'll let you be the banker. New City Carpet, thank you for the super chat. We carpet large office spaces with people who insist on standing in the middle of the suite out of curiosity. It's an efficiency killer plus a hazard. I know. Doug Rutley, that model, cool as hell that a fan put that time into it. I'm blown away by it. I really am. It's so beautiful. It's, you know, like I said, I put more of this. I have significantly more value attached to this model than I do to the actual car itself. I think this is beautiful. I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. Let's see. Yes, nicely done. It's beautifully done. Okay. Don't let Steve Maggs see that model. I'm going to show it to him. I say, yeah, he'll get a kick out of that. I'm gonna ask him why he didn't build me one. Um, let's see. Ray's Garage. Hi, Tony. Stock Q-Jet on a small block Chevy. Idle speed screw all the way out. Can see air through the gap. Can't idle below 700. Any ideas? Top gas gets slightly wet too. No, I don't think the top gas guy has anything to do with it. The actual idle passages are clogged. And pull that thing apart and pass a wire through all of the low speed passages on that thing. You won't be able to do it with it on the car or together. Jonathan Couchy, thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. Tony, do you know anything late 70s 593 318 casting heads? I believe they are 360 runners with 318 valves. I got for free already. It has a 3-angle valve job. No, I don't. There's no such thing as a 318 with 360 runners. Somebody might have ported them, but no. You got them for free. They already have a 3-angle valve job. I mean, run them. You know what I mean? Send it. If they're going on a 318, then the valve size is fine for the bore. The intake valve is in good proportion with the bore, so there's no shrouding from. So when you go to a 188 valve on the 3.91 inch bore, the valve is like real close. You don't get full flow around the outer perimeter of the valve because of its proximity to the cylinder wall. So the 318 valve, even though the 318 valve is kind of small, it's a 1.78 valve. It's proportioned nicely to the 3.91 inch bore. Let's see. Plan Z is Swiss cheese. I can't show you the details on this, but he's got Swiss cheese. He's got Swiss cheese look, underneath the radiator support. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's all Swiss cheese under the radiator support. Inside the car, right? He's got the whole interior, like the panels that are here, they're all Swiss cheese in there. Yeah, no, he's got it. It's Swiss cheese. And even the underneath of the car, he painted it white underneath with the red suspension and red axle and everything, just like the real car. Matt Cervelli, how hard is it to change slant stick spark plug oil seals? On a dual tube head, it's not hard. I mean, it's literally not hard at all. You just take the spark plug out, the tube comes out. The tube is just sitting there. It's held in place by the spark plug. And you'll see when you take the tube out, there'll just be a rubber O-ring. So it's not really an O-ring. It's like a triangle-shaped seal, but it's like an O-ring around the tube. Just slide it off and slide the new one on. It's literally exactly the same work. It's just taking the spark plugs out and putting them back in. Let's see. Model is very cool. I don't know if this is. I don't know if. Let's see. Lloyd Walker. I sold a guy an enderly injection manifold who didn't understand to a large jet to lean it out. Yeah, they don't understand mechanical fuel injection is the opposite. They don't. Yeah. No, Joe. The hood doesn't open. The hood doesn't open. Otto 1303. Tony, speaking of Mopar bodies, did Chrysler, Dodge, and Plymouth each have their own design team, or did Chrysler have one design team for all brands? Okay. Chrysler shared, right, the engineering teams. So so all of the suspension components, all the mechanical components are completely universal between them. There are differences in the length of the floor pans and whatnot, but each of the divisions had its own exterior and trim design teams. But as far as any type of mechanical stuff, interior things like dashboards and whatnot, it was all shared completely among the Dodge and Plymouth. Let's see. Shit, it took you 20 years to finish a Revell Dart GSS. Salvatore, what do I think of Stellantis? I don't think of Stellantis. Uh, let's see. You've seen caravan manuals. Uh, Paul Shea. Tony, shout out to your police department. They did a great job on helping Whistling Diesel get his stuff back. I don't know if you guys saw this, right? Oh, Jesus. So Whistling Diesel did a video yesterday, put out a video yesterday, that there was a guy that stole a bunch of random stuff off of one of his properties. Whistling Diesel lives here in Murfreesboro. It's in the same city that we are. He's on the other side of the city. So somebody went onto one of his properties and stole a bunch of random stuff. So he had trail cams watching the driveway, and he caught this guy. Right? They got him the car. They got so he tracked them down, and he got the cops there. Right? And the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department, which is a great group of people. And I've had my run-ins with them. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had my run-ins with them. I'm talking about somebody. This is coming from somebody who is on the, who's been on their bad side a time or two. And I have nothing but the best stuff to say about them. They are fantastic. They are just. I respect them so much. You have no idea. They're really good people here, the RCMP or the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department. So, anyway, yeah, they right away 20 minutes to get a warrant to go on this guy's property. So it's a great video. You should watch the video. It's actually pretty cool. So the thing about that is that he let him off the hook, right? Like he could have pressed charges. He could have had the guy busted. There was a lot of things he could have done, and he didn't. He was a gentleman. He was more than a gentleman. He did. He was. It was like the most. And it wasn't meant to. Don't take this the wrong way. It was like the most Christian thing I've ever seen in my life. It was just like, okay, water under the bridge. Let's just forget this ever happened. Blah blah blah. And that's all fine, except that he ran this video, and this guy now is like, there's no place he can go in this country, and people are going to look and point them out and say, "You freaking thief!" So it's like, oh. Lazy Jehovah, she seems like a good kid. He is a good kid. I don't know him. But I watch him. Okay, I watch his videos. I don't know him. We've never met. We probably never will meet. But I watch his videos, and I get it. I get what he is. You know what I mean? People, he's got a bit of a wild ass to him, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But that kid, there's a lot to him. There's a lot there that you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of substance there. I get him. Most people don't. Rider of a pale horse. Thank you for the super chat, my evil friend. Merry Christmas for you and all of your family. Thank you for the work you do. Thank you for watching us, brother Ann. Thank you. Lloyd Walker, the thief admitted to having mental problems. I understand, a great kid. No, he admitted to being drunk on pain pills. He didn't admit that that he had mental problems is different from than being on pain pills and drunk. So two completely different things now. You know what I mean? Let's not confuse those things. Matt Cervelli, Cervelli. How much do you hate the non-synchronized A250 three-speed column shift? There's no such thing as a non-synchronized A250 column shift. There's two non-synchronized transmissions. There's the A903, which is the light-duty one, and the A748, which is the heavier-duty one. The A230, which came out in 1970, that's a three-speed. That's fully synchronized, and most of those were floor shift. If you got one that was column shift, it was usually the 903 or the 748. If it was a floor shift three-speed, it was generally the A230. Lazy A-hole ranch. That video sets the precedent for the other trolls that have been messing with him. The kid basically used that video to set his boundaries, and he's not going to tolerate the bullshit. Exactly right. I'm telling you that there is a lot to that kid that doesn't meet the eye. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, more power to him. I'm a fan. I have become a fan of and not because of this. Not because of this. This has nothing to do with it. But I'm telling you, I have a lot of respect for that kid. Let's see, Mr. Will, Tony, regular rice ball or Sicilian rice ball? I like the regular rice ball. And the Sicilian rice ball has the meat in the center of it. I'm not too crazy about those. I like just the purity of the rice ball. I like the mozzarella in the center. It has a very delicate kind of taste to it. You know what I mean? That the Sicilian one doesn't have. You know, the flavor of the meat kind of overwhelms the rest of the rice ball. I like the subtleties of the various cheeses that come through without the meat. Phantom, is it safe for me to gap at 20,000 and run 7 psi and just bump it up later down the road? Bro, I have Phantom. I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, Parmesan, yeah, there's Parmesan in there. John Doe, I would like to see Uncle Tony do a car rescue video. We've done a couple of them, but I don't do them like everybody else does because I don't have that kind of patience. Like I can't do what Derek does, you know, Vice Girl. I cannot do what he does. There are other guys who do them, junkyard digs. Lots of people do the car rescues. I don't have the patience for it. I don't have the patience for it. I get in there and it's just like I just got to get it run. And we've done a couple of them where we come across cars that haven't run in 10 years, 20 years, whatever it happens to be, and we go get them running. But I can't get a whole video. I can't make a half-hour episode out of it. I see the thing. I'm like, okay, let's get this freaking thing to run, right? And it's like bam, 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 and like within 10 minutes, either it starts and it runs and it's done, or like, okay, this is getting towed back to the shop and we're gonna rip it apart. So I can't. I just don't have it in me to do those type of videos like those guys do. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something seriously. You watch guys like that, you know, who do these rescue videos. You know, Dylan McCool, Vice Grip, Junkyard Digs. You watch these guys that do these videos on a regular basis, man. Let me tell you, it takes a lot of talent to do those videos that I do not have. I don't have the talent. I don't have the mindset to be able to do that kind of video. So Yeah. Uh, Andy GTX. Yeah, but that was here at the shop. That's different than going out in the field. Paul Shea Dylan McCool did a great episode on this Pinto. The guy is determined. Yeah, yeah, no, these I'm telling you. I watch some I don't watch a lot of the revival videos. I watch a fair amount of them, right? I've over the last couple of months I've made it a point to watch more YouTube. Now, and I've said this before we started doing YouTube, I didn't watch YouTube. Like I was aware of YouTube, obviously, right? But I didn't watch YouTube. I was literally doing YouTube before I really started watching YouTube. And then over the last several months, I realized that if I'm gonna, and I've been doing this seriously, but I realized that I really have to start watching YouTube, to be on top of YouTube. So I really only started watching these videos over the last several months, last couple of few months, and so yeah, those guys who do the regular revivals, just amazing. Dankin, wow, we're that cool die. It's not a die cast. It's a 125th scale replica that one of our viewers built of Plan Z. Uh, Derek Constant, are wheel spacers safe? It depends. It depends. Um, I would say generally yes. Generally yes. There's too many variables, bro. Too many variables. Let's see. Lloyd Walker, Steve Manx today, 833 trans with a factory rehearsed shifter and a 64 Valiant. Yes, I saw that. I saw that. Olive, how are you doing, Olive? Junkyard Mook reminds me a lot of someone I used to know. She's great. She's great. I think she adds so much to that channel, and she's got her own channel too. I think she's great. Um, Emily Siverson. Hi, Emily. Can you use the same A-body Slant 6K member when doing a 3-3 low deck big block swap and a manual steering box? Yes, you can. You just Transdapt. Okay, Transdapt. Transdapt. They have a motor mount kit for that swap. Big block onto a Slant 6K frame. The kit is about 65 bucks. I know you can get them. I know TTI makes them, Schumacher makes them, and they're like $7,000 for a pair of brackets and a couple of bolts. Okay, I've used the Transdapt mounts since the 70s. Okay, and the Transdapt stuff is like 65 bucks, and it'll get you the job done and bolt that motor directly to that K frame with no problems at all. Phantom, is it safe for me to piston ring gap at 20 thousandths and run 7 psi and just bump it up later down the road like a few months, or is that a bad idea? That is a bad idea. Um, 7 psi is not a lot of boost, and 20 thousandths seems a little on the tight side, even at 7 psi. I mean, you have it apart, I assume. If you know what the ring gap is, I'm assuming you've got it apart. So just open them up. See, at this, okay. Manly piston rings call for 20 thousandths for medium boost, 16 to 28 psi, and 17,000 for 15 or less. Okay, if so, go by what the manufacturer says. Go by what the manufacturer says. If Manley, who makes the rings, tells you that that's what they're recommending, then go for that. Okay, here's what I do. Okay, if I know the motor is going to get either boost or nitrous or anything, okay, a power adder of any sort, I just automatically go to 28, 30,000, because why have to worry about it? Why even think about it? But that's like on a 4-inch bore, 4 1/8, 4 1/4 inch bore. I know obviously different bore is going to require different. I'm just saying I automatically go to the largest recommended gap, so that down the road you want to make changes, you want to go from 7, you want to run 18 pounds, whatever it is, or let's say you want to go to nitrous, and you don't want to be changing things around inside the motor. I just automatically go for the biggest gap. You're not going to see a difference in efficiency. Let's just say you're not going to see an operating difference in the engine if the gap is at 28,000 or it's at 18,000. You're not going to see it. Not going to see it. So just just set them up with the biggest gap that is recommended and leave it, call it a day. And this way, down the road, no matter what you do to this thing or what kind of abuse you put it through, because think about this, right? Okay, so you're Terry Littlejohn, you made 22,000 with 10 psi. Here's the thing with this, right? So let's just say you're running 7 psi, right? And you've got your gap to the tight side. Well, let's just say you're running the motor. It's you're hot lapping the car. You're at the track. You're hot lapping the car, and you run into, let's say, a vapor lockish type of problem or a lean spot where combustion temperatures spike. Why have to even worry about it? Just throw the biggest, whatever the largest gap is that they recommend, do it, and then never look back. Mike Batista, yeah, the factory gapped rings too tight is the problem. The factory didn't gap the rings too tight. The factory gapped the rings to be run as the car is supposed to be run. Now we're going to modify it. You know what I'm saying? So now the ring gap becomes a whole different situation. Phantom, yes, thank you so much. It's my first engine build, so I do not know this stuff. I am currently gapping the rings and putting all forged internals in with King bearings. Yes, I'm sure you're using all good quality parts, but like I said, that's what I would do. Okay, and it's only really so that you've always got that margin that, like I said, you're hot lapping the thing, you run into a fuel starvation problem, whatever it happens to be, the motor goes into a detonation kind of cycle. It's like, where temperatures are spiking, then you don't have to worry about it, and you're free to do whatever you want as far as changing around, adding boost, adding nitrous, whatever it is that you're going to do. You don't have to worry about it. So just go with the largest gap recommended by the manufacturer. Phantom, thank you again for the super chat. You didn't have to send more, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage. Unity Motorsports Garage, one of the smartest people I know. Absolutely. This guy was. You look at these ass clowns from Motor Trend and shit like that. No, you want real information. You want real knowledge. Unity Motorsports Garage. He runs with people like David Vizard. Okay, right. This is quality intelligence he's talking about here. So Unity Motorsports Garage. Go over there and sub to him. But he's saying, yeah, what's up, folks? Just go ring gap. I wish I had come up with this. Too loose, nobody ever knows. Too tight, everyone knows. That's exactly right. There you go. Big Mike's Hoopty Barn, thank you for the super chat. Gonna have to call it a night, guys. But before I go, I just gotta say thanks and Merry Christmas to the TG family. Merry Christmas to you and yours, Big Mike, and good luck with your channel. Good luck with that channel, bro. Who is quiet these days, unfortunately? Justin Damper, what zinc additives do you run? I just automatically grab for STP for no other reason than just sentimentality. Okay, it's like this. There's like all these different additives, and they all have zinc and shit like that. I just grabbed for STP. It's just because, you know what I mean. I come from I come from the STP generation. You know, when I was a kid, like, 1960s, 1970s. STP stickers were everywhere. STP, the Racer's Edge, it was everywhere. Andy Granatelli, right? All that shit, right? That it sunk into my head. So here we are, 50 years later, and when I need zinc, I grab a can of STP. One bad AMX. I missed your super chat. I I don't see a super chat from you. Let me scroll back. Oh, there you are. Thank you for the super chat, Bad AMX. Uncle Tony, do you remember the Chrysler Highlanders pipe band? No, no, I don't think I ever heard that. Zip ties is a genius, yes. Danny Boyd, I still remember the jingle STP. Yeah, STP is the Racer's Edge, right? Right? Uh, let's see. Todd Iannuzzi, how much zinc are you supposed to add whole bottle using Lucas? Yeah, you add a bottle to start off. Okay, so you're only concerned with zinc if you're running a flat tappet cam, hydraulic or solid, doesn't make a difference. If you're running a flat tappet cam, okay, then start off with a basic zinc oil. Shell Rotella, any diesel oil, but Shell Rotella is the one that I use. It has a minimal amount of zinc in it, enough to just get by with a regular stock street engine with stock valve springs and a stock type of cam. And for break-in purposes, add a full can of, let's say, STP or Lucas or whatever, whichever one you want to use. It doesn't matter. And that's your break-in oil. Charles Armstrong, I have a can of STP from 1972 unopened. I wonder if it's still good. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Nothing could ever go wrong with it. New City Carpet, thank all of you guys for helping me, us, everyone during this past year. Got a nice 3989 built with your input. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, New City Carpet, and thank you. And he's not thanking me, okay? He's thanking this group, because this group, the regulars that come on here and share knowledge and experience and everything else, man, I say this over and over again. I got the best freaking automotive community on YouTube. You guys are just so full of knowledge and willing to talk and everything else that, yeah, this particular format, like these ones that I chose, the amount of knowledge and experience that shows up in the comments in in our mods, they keep everything going so smooth. They keep the riffraff out, and it's like we get these great conversations, and so he's not thanking me, he's thanking us collectively. Need Metal, thank you for the chat, man, for the super chat. There seems to be a push towards bio race fuels. What are your thoughts? I see virtue signaling. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, man. I don't really have any thoughts on that. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of virtue signaling going on, especially in the establishment. The automotive aftermarket establishment. So yeah, I don't really have any thoughts on that. I really don't. Boosted ZL Adventure Vlogs, largest group of 318, 360 owners I can find, and we're all live. Yep. Doug Rutley, a transmission builder friend uses STP oil additive as assembly lube. Yep, I do the same thing. I use Lucas too, or Motor Medic. And the reason being is because, well, okay, okay. See, I always use STP. This is going to sound crazy. I always use STP as an additive. It was fine. It came in a can with a pull tab top, okay? But I never used it as assembly lube because it came in a can with a pull tab top. So A, you couldn't seal it back up again, and B, when you duck your finger in there, you cut your finger on the edge of the can. So for assembly lube, I always used either Lucas or Motor Medic for assembly lube, and I would use STP as an actual additive. Now STP comes in those little blue jugs with the screw on top, but back when I was doing a lot of engine work, it didn't. Um, let's see. Uh, Brian B. Oh God, this is a good question, man. And I've done this myself. I may have mixed up rod caps on a 302 Ford between 1 and 2. What can I do? Here's what I've done that. I've done that. Everybody who builds engines regularly does that, right? I've done that. Here's the easiest way to do it, or the most accurate way to do it is match up the crosshatch, the machining crosshatch. So obviously take the pistons and rods, okay, take the cap, right, put the cap in place, and then match up the crosshatch, right? It'll be like a fingerprint. You know what I mean? So as long as you've got tighten the cap down, put it in position, and match up the crosshatch between the top and the bottom halves. A lot of times you can see it just by looking at the side of the rod. You can see obviously that they have a slightly discoloration, or but just in case you can't tell from any visual external clues, then take the cap, then put the cap together and match up the crosshatch lines from the top to the bottom, and that's best way. Um, let's see. Two cans of STP can stop a rod knock. Let's see. Mike Batista, yeah, I hate when that happens. You got to buy a punch kit and stamp the rods and caps. Yeah, but it's too late for that. he's past that far. He's past that far now, and he's got them mixed up. Joe K, did you see the latest news? EPA's new higher emission standards will mean a 40 mile per gallon fleet average in 2026. I don't pay any attention to it. I don't look. I don't pay any attention to that stuff. I never cared about the rules and the laws when I was younger, and I'm almost dead, and I still don't care about the rules and the laws. So whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. I don't care. Um, uh, defund the EPA. John Doe, did street Hemis live up to the hype back in the day? No, they didn't. John Bullock, did you ever go to a Rush concert in the mid '70s? I never liked Rush, man. I no. I find their music extremely irritating. I no. Um, majestic America Chicken. Thank you, sir. Do you have any more XJ projects coming in the near future? It was really cool to see you working with the 4.0. Yes, I have. I have the EAP. The EAP Hero is here. It's on the side of the building. I got to pull the trans out. I got to go through the trans. But yes, we're definitely there is absolutely XJ stuff coming. Just not for a few weeks, several weeks. I have to get past the things I have lined up to get done now, and then I'll get to the Jeep stuff. Um, Todd Energy, when Joe Oldham tested the Hemi Super Bee, do you think he got a prepped one? Probably. Um, let's see. Will Gruber, love to hear your thoughts on the Mopar 361. It's a great driver engine. Nothing wrong with a 361. It was a great truck engine. It was used mostly in trucks. But in the early days, there were passenger cars. It's a great driver engine, but it has too small of a bore compared to the other engines. It can't make full use of the cylinder head. So while it's a fantastic driver engine, it's not the best performance engine. You're much better off with a 383 or better than a 400. 672E Galaxy, thank you for the super chat, my brother. That's very generous. UT, thanks for turning on the camera. Merry Christmas. Thanks for being on the other end of the camera. Thank you. Dick Dastardly, my dad bought his new Super Bee in 1969. The factory shut him off after the fourth engine. How high? Steve Merchuk, how high are you going to jump Slaghammer? Slaghammer, if we changed the direction on that car, we converted it to two-door. It's actually going to be a street freak kind of gasser that Al, my friend Al, and his son Ethan are going to try to take on Power Tour and Drag Week this coming year. So yeah, no, it's no more off-road for that car. We switched over to Jeeps. I have a lifted Jeep out in the back that we're going to be working with. Eric Uncaffer. I can't pronounce your name, bro. Where's your awesome tow truck? It's parked right in front of the building. Let's see. Todd, I know. You guys watched 1979 Street Racing here on YouTube. I haven't seen that. Good back in the day footage. Guy with a Cougar. Good night, West Coast Fishing Adventures, and thank you. Merry Christmas. Slaghammer leaving on the back tires would be awesome. Yeah, it would be. I don't know how much wheelie you're able to get out of that car, but we're going to try. Let's see, Parliament. The cigarette or the band? There was like a disco band called Parliament. Slots on Slaghammer. Yeah, either slots or Traeger SSs. I got to see what comes around first. BW's Garage. I'm late. Is the boat in the water? No, not yet. Boat's supposed to go in. We're still on schedule. I think we can make it. Saturday morning. Saturday morning. Parliament Funkadelic. Yeah. See, some of that stuff was actually pretty good. One bit AMX. Any experiences with the 350 Big Black Mopar? No, that was a very obscure motor. 1 year only. Not a. Mike Batista, is Slaghammer a gasser or a street freak? Yes. Um, Joe Brennan, how much glitter should you expect to see after the oil in the oil after an engine break-in? Uh, none. I mean, like none. That was one of the things when we was doing the nitro cars. That was one of the things. You know, I spent a lot of time as a diver. So a diver, for you guys who don't know, a diver is a guy who climbs underneath, rips the oil pan off, and starts pulling bearings, right? And while everybody else is doing their thing, so you've dropped the bottom end of the motor, you've done your work. Now you got to go clean the parts. And one of the things about the oil pan is that even when there's nothing wrong, and I could, you know, I swear to God, I could never figure it out. Okay, even when there's nothing wrong, so you pull the pan, you run the bearings all look good, everything looks good. Even when everything looks good, there's still shit in the pan. You'll still find metal and chunks and bits and little nuggets and little bits of glitter. And you run your finger through the pan, and they'll be like, you'll find stuff. But it never comes from, it doesn't come from the bearings, it doesn't come from the pistons, it doesn't come from the rings, but there's always stuff in the pan. Uh, let's see. Boosted Boys. Wow, what a great channel. I love those kids. I love those kids. Um, okay, Wheelie King. Wish I had a couple paragraphs to this. So many questions. You may get into soon with your efficiency vids, but when, why should one lose the heat crossover? Does leaving it hurt power on a driver? Yes. Okay. And I'm going to cover that. I'm going to cover that. If you're building for gas mileage, if you're building for efficiency, gas mileage, which means you want a quick burn, right? You use heat. You go with vapor, okay? If you're going for maximum horsepower and a longer duration burn, then you use cold. And that's why if you're building for muscle, okay, muscle is your goal. You block off the heat. You try to keep the okay. Think of it this way, right? You want to run for performance. You want to run your engine like its head is in the freezer and its feet are in the oven. Okay, that's the best way to put it. Okay, so from the solar heads down, you want it as hot as it's going to get. From the solar heads up, you want it ice cold. Okay, and that's where you're going to get your most power, maximum power. Because of the oxygen content that you're going to be able to bring in with that. And because you can bring that much oxygen in, you can bring that much extra fuel in, and it increases the duration of burn. So instead of the main power pulse, or I should the peak power pulse ending at about 45 degrees past top dead center, it'll go to 60, 65 degrees past top dead center. And that's where the power comes from. So cold means more oxygen. Chilled fuel means more fuel getting through there, right? It hits the hot intake valve. Some of it vaporizes enough for the spark plug to get a light on it. And then you've got all of that oxygen and all of that fuel that was in there because it was cold. And you get a long duration burn, and that's where your power comes from. Flip side, you're going for fuel economy. You want to use as little fuel as possible to accomplish a pressure pulse. Doesn't have to be a very long lasting pressure pulse, but a pressure pulse nonetheless. And that's why small bore is so important on an economy engine. Then you go with the hot side, you vaporize it as much as possible. You create this the extremely light mixture, extremely volatile mixture, and you get a quick light and you get a quick power pulse, and that's where you get maximum mileage efficiency. Did I explain that right, Wheelie King? That I don't know. Did what I say just made sense? Um, Okay, so it made sense. Okay. Um, Will Gruber, what do you think I can get out of a 361? Because I'm building a 361 for my 67 Barracuda fastback. Board 60 with forged internals and flat tops with his 4-barrel 750 CFM car. I mean, I can't throw a horsepower number at you. It's impossible, and there's no way for me to know the rest of how well this thing is tuned and how matched the combination is. So there's no way for me to know. You'll get approximately what you would get out of a 383. I mean, but not. It's just not optimized. The 361 just isn't optimized for it. But your engine will run fine. You will enjoy it. Um, Hemihead, thank you for the super chat. Silly question, but did only Chargers come stock with or have provisions to inflate the rear shocks located in the trunk? Chargers never. No, no factory. No, okay, no assembly line car came with air shock provisions. Now, a dealer prepped car. So let's say you had a dealer prep car, they order a trailer towing package and they're going to like set it up at the dealer to tow a heavier trailer or a heavy tongue weight trailer or something. They might have added provisions for air shocks, but I can't ever recall seeing factory air shocks or assembly line air shocks in any any classic or Chrysler product. Um, Brian Juffs, on the economy thing, should look at long reach plugs, spark plugs, and test the difference. Okay. Gap is more important than reach, honestly, I believe. Um, Tadianucci, did the quarter mile dart disappear or get crushed? Somebody told me what became of that car afterwards, but I don't remember, man. It's such a long time ago. I used to hang out with Barry Petard, who was one of the Mutt brothers. So I had a direct line to all of these people back in the day when I was a teenager, and I knew the stories of what car went where, which was the S&K car, and when it became this car, blah 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 blah. But I don't remember anymore. It was never really that important to me. Um, Mike Batista with E85, we don't have to worry about detonation anymore. Less likely to encounter detonation. Wheelie King, that kind of explains why my dad used to run at least a 200-degree thermostat in all the street strip cars he used to build. Well, okay, Bill Jenkins determined that the optimum operating temperature for the small block Chevy, and this is back when he was running the small block Chevys in pro stock. So let's say 1972, let's say we went to the, 1970, 1972 through the end of the small block era, so it'd be about 1983, right? Whatever the specific period was, he determined at that point that the optimum operating temperature for the small block Chevy was 212 degrees, the incipient boiling point of water. That's where he determined the optimum operating temperature for the engine was. So basically, he's deducing that at 212 degrees water temperature, that the cylinder head, valve, and piston head temperatures are all in line for maximum vaporization, for maximum power. So 200 degrees, 212 degrees, 220 degrees in the short block is right. And then on the top end, a cool can to cool the fuel and tighten up the molecules, an air gap type of intake or a blocked off, or tunnel vent, which have, the ultimate air gap manifolds. So you've got this cool mixture coming in to a hot bottom end, and that's where your power is. VO2 Hemi Cuda. Do you remember Brian's SKLO23 Dart? Well, okay, the SK Speed Dart was the car that was used in that race, quarter mile, quarter million, quarter Mowers. But I don't know what happened to it afterwards. I know that Brooklyn Heavy ran a Hemi Dart for a little while. It was the only Mopar in the stable. He ran all Chevys. He ran one Mopar, and I'm pretty sure it was that SK Hemi Dart, which then went to the Mutt Brothers, which then went to Brooklyn Heavy. But I don't know what became of the car afterwards. Let's see. Behind your real license plate. I'm not okay. I'm just trying to catch up over here. Hemi hit 68. The video you did of the Mopar chassis, that one that was on the rotisserie, was just outstanding. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think this froze. Now we're going on past 2 hours here. It looks like the chat. Okay, it burnt up. Brian built a new one. See, I don't know. I don't know about any of that stuff. Talking about factory air shocks on a 442. Oh, okay, okay. Chaos Customs doing a 360 Magnum and trans swap into a 92 Nissan hardbody. Any tips? I have no tips, but that sounds like a really neat swap. Zero wanted to say thanks to everyone and Merry Christmas. Thank you, Zero, and Merry Christmas to you. What's on the Merry Christmas to you too. So, guys, we're going on. We're past the 2 hour mark here. I'm gonna pull a plug on this thing now. So again, as always, right? Our amazing mods, right? Zero, John, Ari, Fubar. They're not always all here at the same time, but they're always part of. They're always in and out. There's always at least one or two of them hanging around, keeping things running smooth here. Guys, thank you so much. You know how much we appreciate you. Everybody who contributed with Super Chat, thank you so much. We appreciate that. It keeps the wheels turning. You know, all of this stuff costs money. You know, and you guys keep it moving, and we're forever in debt to you for that. And everybody who just contributes with your presence, you know, our friends, and you contribute your knowledge and everything else. You're part of the best, the tightest automotive community on YouTube. And it's, you know, thank you all. You have no idea how much we appreciate what you do, who you are. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. My Jewish friends, you had Hanukkah already. Everybody, you know, just a happy holidays, right? You know, Merry Christmas, obviously, to everybody who celebrates Christmas. But happy holidays. We've got atheists out there, you know what I mean? Like, you got holidays too. You got you know, New Year's coming up, right? Everybody celebrates something this time of the year. So, you know, thank you all. Happy holidays, and that's it. I'm gonna check out. Fubar, thank you again, brother man. Put up the link to our merch. You want any of our shirts or anything like that? We got it. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna pull a plug, and I'll see you tomorrow.